Welcome to the Critters Corner, B&A, AT, whatever the initials are. I don't know. We're combining today. Tyler's not with us. You get the C squad, D squad announcer. I'm terrible at this. I'm really good at talking, though. And so that's what we're going to do today. And so we're going to go with Coach Shaw and the Lady Buffaloes first. And we'll talk about the two games that you've had in the last week. And then we're going to let you go because you've got to go practice. So we'll go to break after that. And then we'll talk with Coach Tolliver, who his team is practicing right now. But I don't know, maybe Coach Kyler or somebody else can speak wisdom into the team. So anyhow, Coach, I guess since you did the show last Wednesday with Tyler, you've played South Greene and you played Chuggy Doke. And you played Chuggy Doke last night. You played South Greene last Friday, or was it Saturday?
Friday.
Friday. Yeah, I believe it was. You're kind of toward the end of the season right now. Give me just an overview of how you're feeling here at the end of the season, heading into the tournament zone.
We've got to get Joey back. That's how I'm feeling. Alyssa's hurt, and so I thought we were picking up steam in terms of our game. We were winning. But since last night we didn't have either of those. It was a rough night. We had lost Alyssa in the first half at some point, and so we had other girls try to step up for us, but I was feeling. At least the others are getting playing time.
Yeah,
a lot of playing time.
Well,
I don't know.
In a lot of ways, it's tough. It really is tough.
Yeah.
But you're a young team, and not only you're young. It's you've got some veterans that have been in these types of games, and I think Morgan Brown continues to try to lead the way. She's scoring 15, 20 points a game. She's doing what she can do. But you're young, and even Joey Shipley, she's part of that youth that you have. So I know you're joking. I know you're trying to be positive about it, but it is, I think, a good thing that some of these girls are getting the playing time that they're getting, because you're building a program not just for the season. And so when you play teams like South Greene, when you play teams like Chuggy Doke, who just last week, you had the buzzer beater 3-pointer at Chuggy Doke for that big win. I think that you probably, I know that it's tough to lose players like Joey and the youth that you have with Alyssa being out too, but kind of take us through, you've had a lot of younger kids who have played so far this season. Is it valuable experience that they're getting heading into a tournament time where injuries and sickness may be an issue whenever the tournament comes around?
Well, we talked yesterday before the game. It has to help if they're getting to play a lot before, because when Joey does come back, whenever she starts feeling better, then they'll at least have more experience. We were playing JV, and so they were getting experience there, but it's still not the same as on varsity, especially when you've got different players. And we have had a lot of girls play for us prior to that, like Emily. She started every game for us as point guard, and so she had played point guard last year at West Green Middle School, so she's getting a lot of experience too, and she's had to adjust quickly to being point guard, so it's another one.
I think from watching at the beginning of the year to watching I have not seen a game since the buzzer beater at Chuggy Doke. I didn't watch either game, the past two games that you've had. But at that game, something that I noticed about your girls that I didn't notice earlier games in the season is that they're starting to listen. And Mark Brooks even said this Saturday, your coaching in that Chuggy Doke game, it was like they were responding to what you were saying and doing what you were telling them to do. And so I think that what we're talking about here is happening. And then you see a point guard like Emily who is coming along. And what I also saw out of the team in January that I didn't see out of the team in November is grit. And that was a gritty game. Now I know that, last night's game and last night's result was obviously different than that game. But again, you've got sickness, you've got injuries, things like that. So kind of speak to that, just the grittiness of the girls that you have and kind of the personality that they take on.
But at this point, they don't have many other options. With things out there, they've either got to be tough or they're going to get the ball taken from them or we're going to lose badly. It's Alyssa's really, really tough too. She's a really tough player. I know she's not very tall, but she's really tough for us. And Morgan always is tough. Always. She's on the ground all the time. But at this point, they don't have any other options. Either they're going to have to be tough or we're going to lose badly or we're going to lose. And so, they're having to step up if they want a chance to win. Because I can sub, but it's for all of them. They're going to have to be tough. So.
Yeah. So with what you have coming down the pike, I know that you're supposed to play Cherokee. Is that correct?
Yeah, tomorrow.
You play Cherokee tomorrow. What is your conference schedule going towards the end? Because right now you sit in, are you in fourth or are you in fifth place at this point?
I think fourth because we have a higher.
Chucky Doke.
I think it's because we have a rank win over a higher seed, which would be Chucky Doke. I think it's fourth. If we split with Johnson County, we'll be fourth for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have Happy Valley, and then obviously another game with Johnson County.
Yeah.
And 2 with Hampton.
2 with Hampton.
Okay. Yeah, because I forgot y'all had not got those games in because of scheduling things. So with that schedule, I mean, obviously you've got to take care of business, but you feel a little bit of confidence. You get, like you said, you get some of those players back. You get Joey back, you get Alyssa back. Morgan continues to play like she's been doing and producing. Emily continuing to come along at the point guard position that allows Morgan to score and not have to be the only ball carrier. This isn't football. The ball handler. I think that helps. But you play Happy Valley, you play Johnson County. Obviously, you've not played Hampton yet. You don't know what that game is going to look like necessarily. But if you take care of business against Happy Valley, Johnson County, that keeps you in that 4 seed, which means that you would play
4 and 5 play each other.
Right.
Because 1 and 2 get a bye, then 3 and 6 play. So whether we get 4th or 5th, we'll play Johnson County the first game of the tournament.
Yeah. And I think that, I mean, you're in a good position right now. I know that it seems like it's dark because injuries, it's that time of the year. It seems like it's dark and things. But I think just from an outsider's perspective that, again, I coached middle school for a long time, and one thing that you learn is you see progression and you see development. And I've seen that in the Lady Buffaloes this year. And obviously that's going to happen when you've got a young team. You've got a bunch of freshmen that are playing high school for the first time. After, 3 months into the season, they start to grow up a little bit. And that's happening. So
Thanks.
you're welcome. I'm a positive person. But I know how it is, and I know that that's what it takes to build a program, and that's obviously what's happening. So, talking about Cherokee, that's a game where it's a non-conference game. Maybe that's a good game. Do you feel like that's a good game to have some injuries and people out? Is because it's a game for some of these girls to get more minutes.
We beat them by, I think it was 4 last time.
Yeah.
And so if we have some injuries, and some other people's going to have to step up so we have the same outcome as we did last time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it could be worse in terms of what game these people are missing, but I was hoping to play them with all our people here.
Yeah.
Especially since we went on the road and beat them. But now they're coming here, and, you expect it to be tougher on home court. So,
Sure.
But it's not conference, I guess.
Yeah, that's it. It's not conference. You're getting minutes for the younger players, and it's another game buffer between when you get those players back from sickness or whatever it is. And again, just healthy and hit a little bit of a winning streak before the end of the year. So what are you're going into practice here. We're going to let you go here in just a second. We're going into practice. Yeah. We're going into practice. And what are you telling your girls? Like what is the message that you are sending your girls at this point in the season when there is the adversity and stuff that they're facing?
We talked about, we watched film a minute ago, is to not go backwards. Like stuff that we've been saying from the beginning, don't go backwards on it because we've got to improve. And, a few things we've worked on in practice, like with the same few people, a few different things. We got to move on from those things. So we don't have to keep harping on the same things because we've got to look at the bigger picture now, not just like, hey, make sure you dribble the correct hand, that kind of stuff. We're way past that point. So it's just, trying to continue to improve with who we have. And they've got to get better no matter who's out there to give us the best chance to win. So
I think it makes sense. And there are coaches who watch this show and watch the other shows that we have every single week because it is the coach's show. And I talk with a lot of different people who are coaches and things like that. And it is tough. It's a tough season. It's a tough time that you've got youth and things like that. But I think that's why just don't go backwards because there has been a lot of progress. And I will say, just again, not trying to be an overly optimistic or positive person, it's just the truth. Anybody who is not closely associated as a parent, a fan, a coach, a player, anybody who's not closely associated, sometimes it's kind of hard to see some of those things if you're not on the outside. And we do, I see it. I see that progression. And so I think that's, it's a good thing. At the beginning of the year, had you told me that this team would have been in a position to make a comeback against Chuckaddoke like they did, and then not only come back, but come all the way back and win it in the fashion that they did at Chuckaddoke, I would have told you there's no way that's happening. Not this
I
year.
understand.
And so, and so that's, it is tough. And I know the injuries right now, obviously, you're just kind of trying to survive, but that's pretty much the life of the coach. So I think you're doing a good job as an alumni of this grand school. And actually, where we're sitting right now used to be my parking spot. So feels like progress has made it. So I know it's tough. I know it is difficult, but you've got a good conference schedule coming up. You get those wins against Happy Valley, Johnson County. Now that's next week, Johnson County.
Happy Valley's on Saturday and Johnson County's next week.
Yeah. So those are two really important games because that's obviously going to decide seeding.
And Hampton.
You got the two Hampton.
I'm
games,
sorry.
But I mean, again, we don't know a lot about Hampton. We've played Johnson County. We've played
Yes.
Happy Valley. We know that we've got to split with them at least and keep that 4 seed. So it's important. But I know you've got to go to practice. And this guy left practice early, so we're gonna take a break, and when we come back on the Critters Corner something show.
It'll just be me when you come.
It'll be Coach Tiley.
Sorry.
And Coach Shaw is going to be out at practice. So, Coach,
Thank you.
because of the flu's going around, we won't shake hands or anything. That'll be our reasoning. But we'll let you get out to practice. Thanks for being here, and hopefully Tyler will be back with us next week.
Bayleton Drug Company services the surrounding communities of Bayleton with excellent patient care using a full-line pharmacy, over-the-counter selections, and a convenient drive-thru. When you visit us, you are treated as a neighbor, not a number. It's not just our slogan, but our culture. We're investing in our patients, local schools, and community. For over 5 years now, we have established ourselves as an independently family-run pharmacy that isn't driven by corporate goals. We are driven by what is best for your overall health and wellness. We're conveniently located so you don't have to make the drive. Prescription drugs are just the tip of the iceberg. We also offer natural remedies, essential oils, at-home medical needs such as walkers, rollators, bath accessories, as well as wound care products. And coming soon, basic urgent care services. What makes us better than other drugstores out there? When you frequent Bayleton Drug, you will receive professional, courteous, and friendly service that goes above and beyond any other pharmacy in the area. Remember, you're a neighbor, not a number.
Hometown Realty of Greenville is selling Greenville and Greene County 1 yard at a time. Every coach knows making the right call is what makes his team successful. If you want success in moving your real estate, get the home field advantage. Make sure to make the right call. Call Hometown Realty and Auction of Greenville. Hometown Realty offers you professional service with local hometown people you know and trust. Call Hometown Realty of Greenville today, 423-639-2345.
more than 30 years, Tommy's Plumbing has served customers in East Tennessee with licensed and professional plumbing services. From installing your new faucet to replacing your existing piping system, our team at Tommy's Plumbing is trained to handle the job with professionalism, attention to detail, and integrity. By offering warranties on most products installed by our technicians, Tommy's Plumbing stands behind our work, ensuring that your plumbing needs are not only met, but that your problem is solved for the long term. When you need reliable and professional plumbing service, Tommy's is the only call to make. So give us a call today and let us show you the Tommy's difference.
All right, welcome back to this week's edition of Critter Corner, Alan Tolliver Show. We got a new host here, Mr. Dalton Lamb, Big Diesel here. If you ain't seen his gaming page, go check it out. It's great.
Terrible.
Call of Duty
Don't
legend.
play. Don't even have a house anymore. But
He's lying. He does. He doesn't live on the street.
but I'm terrible at gaming. And since you welcomed us back, like, you just want to lead the whole interview?
I mean, I'm in
Just
Nicholas'
ask you-
chair, so I feel like
We'll just switch back and forth. You ask a question,
And
you
you
just come
answer.
over here. You ask a question, go back over there, and you answer it.
All right.
Okay.
Sure.
No, that won't work because I don't want to get up and down that much.
Okay.
I'll ask the questions.
And I'll try to answer.
You answer them. South Greene
South Greene.
last week.
Yep.
Just walk me through that game.
So we go into it. I mean, we're down a big. My only guy over 6'1". He got hurt at Johnson County.
You talking
So-
about player?
Yeah, player.
Okay.
Aiden Layman's.
A big
Yeah.
post player.
My big post. Well,
Yeah.
skinny, tall post player. Yeah. He's out. Cracked a little growth plate in his shoulder. So we're already down. What little bit of size we have, we're down. We go in. Mindset never changes. Going in to kill, trying to get a win. Big conference win for us. Go in first quarter. We always talk about weathering the storm. Just make it through that first quarter. Make it through. And we played all right through the first quarter. Ended up being down 9 at the end of the first. Going to the second, and things kind of went south on us there. Some reason my assistant asked me some questions. Got a little bit of trouble. Had to sit down. Not very good at sitting down. I don't know if anybody's ever came to a game, but most of the time I sweat more than they do, I feel like.
You talking about your technical?
Yeah.
So I want to ask you to go through what was the issue there.
Yeah.
Because that's going to put you in a position to have to talk about officials, and I don't want you to do that. But
I'm not going to do that. All
but-
officials are great.
you've got this South Greene team who's obviously, they're one of the top two at the top of the conference right now. A lot of talent, and you already, like you said, you're already down a post player in Aiden Layman's, and he's sitting there on the sideline and things. What is, I know what your mentality is. I know that you expect to win every game. That's you're a coach, you're a competitor first and foremost. But what is the general consensus of your team going into that game? What's the mindset there? Like,
Yeah.
how are they feeling?
I mean, they didn't look at it any different. I mean, they knew we were down a guy. It's just a next guy mentality. And, things didn't really go our way. We didn't shoot the ball great. We got open looks. Didn't really turn it over that much. Looked at the paper at the end of the night. We always keep stats, but they ended up with like 16 or 17, which is, we try to play fast. We try to get up and down the floor, so it's really not that bad. But, at the end of the night, I think they shot about 70% in front of the field.
It's tough to overcome.
So when you're in their gym, they're shooting 70%, and they're shooting deep too. They're 3-4 foot behind the line, and it's going in. So it's not you're not there.
Yeah.
But the dudes never quit. The effort was there. The intensity was there.
Yeah.
They played hard all the way through the wood. Second group, I'm not gonna say the same. The sub there, Georgie, got some minutes in, and felt like we were just kind of lax, kind of going through the motions out there. So we had to talk about that. But after that game, then we come back in and get choked up. They come to us. I think I'm not asking my own question now.
Well,
I'm transitioning.
Yeah, your transition. I want to stop there for a second, though. The game, the way it ended up with the score, the way it was.
Yeah.
You're going to talk about the Chucky Dope game, which was last night as we're recording this. It was last night, and vastly different result. and really not that big of a drop in competition level.
Right.
Um,
I mean, they just went to wire to wire.
wire to wire with in a game that a lot of people, including myself, feel like they should have won.
Yeah.
But they come out on the losing side of that. But you lose in the fashion that you did at South Greene on Saturday, Friday. How do you get a team of teenagers to just flush that? Is it easier when you lose by that much, or is it harder to do if it's like a close game? How do you just wipe that out and say, guys, look, like it's over, it's done with, let's move on to the next one?
I mean, I may be completely wrong, but the way I've always done it is next day in practice. I mean, there's times you got to just come in and be like, hey, sucked. Here's what we're going to do. But I mean, after that, like I said, I mean, the effort, the intensity, I thought it stayed high all night. Even at times, I mean, there's a couple times I looked over at Coach Bo and I was like, there's no way we're down 28 right now. We're playing good right now. But I think where we got behind the 8 ball halfway through the second quarter there.
Yeah.
I mean, we might have been playing all right, but we were already down so much that when we went on a little run, I mean, it took it from 35 to 25. I mean, when you look up, it still doesn't look great. But from a coach's perspective, you see, hey, there's progress being made. I mean, I don't really have a lot of experience as far as like varsity minutes goes with the guys out there. So come into practice the next day, you don't hound on it. You don't be like, y'all got beat by 40. This is why you got beat by 40. No. Look at it roll, come in, yeah, kind of have a little bit of fun with them. And then after you have your little bit of fun, then you start transitioning into that next game. And we just we had our fun. We did some blitz drill, did a few scrimmage and things, got up and down, kind of got it out of their heads, and then we started prepping for Chucky Doke.
And so you prep for Chucky Doke Tuesday night. They come here to West Greene. A lot different feel to that game. You led through the end of the third quarter. And take us through that game. I mean, obviously you're still down.
Still down the biggest player, yeah.
Against the biggest player you're going to play all year.
All year long, yeah. No, I mean, like I said, we prepped all day for it on Monday, and I thought the dudes, I mean, they took it very serious. They were locked in. Like I said, we kind of flushed it, got it out of our heads, and then we started prepping for it. I mean, 6'9", tallest guy on the lineup last night was 6'1" for me.
Yeah.
And still, I mean, I know he had 30, but it wasn't an easy 30. I don't feel like. I think he had 8 or 10 and a half. So, guys, I mean, we fronted Dawson, Alex, Mason, went 3 guys. I mean, my point guard ended up guarding at one point last night, if that tells you anything. But they played their hind ends off. We put in a new little offensive set. Just got a lot more movement out of us. We had a lot more back doors. And they were going to the rim. I mean, I know 6'9's in there, but we were going to the rim and getting finishes.
That's what it takes, too.
Yeah.
I mean, get them in foul trouble, things like that, try to catch them out of position.
And, I mean, we just didn't play scared. I feel like that's a big thing for us. Now that we're seeing, hey, we can play with anybody. Like, I mean, South Greene,
About 13 and 10 in the first.
about 13, leading at the end of 1. Had the lead halfway through the third, was down 4 at the end of the third. I mean, we can play with anybody in the conference. We just got to learn how to put a full 4 quarters together. And that's kind of been the motto. And I think, I mean, as the seasons went, parents may not agree, fans may not agree. We're a totally different team than what we were the first game of the year against University.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, losses are going to come.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at sports like MLB, and there are games where teams lose 20-1.
Yeah.
And they are the best baseball players in the world, and they're losing by 19 runs. I mean, it happens. And especially on a night whenever a team, it's not like you've turned the ball over 50 times and, a team's shooting 70%. That's the big deal.
Yeah.
Team shooting upwards of 70% and getting to the free throw line and things like that. Some nights it's just not your night. And then when it's not your night and it is theirs, it looks really bad. But, I think that one thing that has always bugged me about fans, not even just in high school, but just fans in general I'm a fan myself. You just have this expectation of perfection all the time that we don't even hold ourselves to in day-to-day life.
Yeah.
And so, but we like to hold everyone else to it. But when it comes to high school sports, I mean, again, I said it with Coach Shaw. as a former coach, as a former athlete, as someone who's around these sports all the time, I see that progress because I'm not watching you all every single night. I'm seeing you maybe once every week, once every 2 weeks. I see it, and I see growth in other areas. I see, like I mentioned to you, I hadn't seen you all play since before Christmas, and then right after Christmas, I see Elijah Williams come in. It's a totally different team.
Yeah.
Just not that he's scoring like 15, 20 points a game or anything. It's just what he allows the team to do is just totally different.
Takes a lot of pressure off here.
And Brock Winstead in January looks like a completely different player from Brock Winstead. Now I know he was hurt, but looks like a completely different player than Brock Winstead before. And he's scoring, he's doing everything, and the team is just getting better. And like you said, they're getting better. When I watch them play, I don't see a team that is hopeless and that has no chance of beating really anybody. It's just it's a team that like. They have to be consistent. They have to be consistently good, and they have to play together. And when they do that, you have games like last night when you're in it against, the number 1, number 2 team in the conference.
So that's the thing. I mean, if you go back and look at our book, and I've always said if you get 3 to 4 people in double digits, you got a good shot at winning the game.
Yeah.
Our last 5 games, we've had 3 guys in double digits.
Yeah.
And I mean, we counted it up, 7 games this year, we've lost by 6 points or less.
And those are kind of heartbreakers.
Yeah, I mean, those are tough. Personally, I think those are tough to overcome and get beat by 20 or 30.
I would agree. So looking ahead, your schedule obviously is going to be much similar to the girls. You have Cherokee coming in here tomorrow night.
Mm-hmm.
You have Happy Valley Saturday.
Hampton Friday, Happy Valley Saturday.
Hampton Friday, Happy Valley Saturday, Johnson County next week.
Then Hampton again on Monday or Tuesday next week, and then Johnson County Senior Night Thursday.
So Johnson County, obviously, you said senior night, so it's nice that they're coming in here.
Yeah.
Instead of going up there, I know that was a wild environment that night. It
Oh,
was even wilder the next night.
I heard it got wild and just shook it over. We didn't get to play JV last night.
Yeah, it was. I wasn't there, but it was. From everything I was told, it was a little ridiculous.
So
And but no, looking at that schedule and where you are right now, what are you telling your team? I asked Coach Shaw this question. What are you telling your team? Obviously, we want to win every game the rest of the way. If that's not your goal at this point, then I would question that.
Yeah.
But you want to win every game. But what are you telling your team? Like, these are the things we have to do, and this is the stuff we have to see out of you. And if we win these games, great. If we don't, okay. But this is the stuff we've got to get to. What are those things?
I mean, actually, I sat down with a couple of the seniors the other day and started talking about this. Everybody thinks that, you haven't won a conference game. You haven't won a conference game. Well, if you look at it, we still have 4 more conference games to play. I mean, that's quite a bit with only 2 weeks of the season left.
Yeah.
With our coin draw at the beginning of the year, we drew the 2. So, like, when it comes to tiebreakers and stuff, and we'll go to that coin draw, we're the second. So, we still got Johnson County, Happy Valley, and Hampton twice. Say we beat Johnson County and Happy Valley. So that gives us 2 conference wins there. So then if we say we pull out a Hampton win, that locks us in at the 4 seed. Say we don't pull out a Hampton win, and we drop both of those for some reason. Not that I think we will, but just in situational, like I was looking at it. If we still beat Johnson County, Happy Valley at home, both games, that'll put us being the 4 or 5 seed. Which is, I mean, it's kind of where you want to be. I mean, we can't get any higher than that. Even if we sweep Hampton, we can't get higher than the 4. So we're looking at that 4 or 5 seed, turning around, playing that 4 or 5 seed again. And then once you get to tournament time, I mean, I was talking in the locker room last night, you're picking a great time to hit your stride.
Yep.
I mean, if you don't win a conference game all year, it doesn't matter. You can still go in the tournament, win the whole thing.
Well, we saw was it last year or the year before? There was a team in, can't remember if it was single A or double A. There was a team that had won 8 games, 7 games. It was single digit wins the whole year. But they got hot and they ended up finishing second in the region, went to sub-state, won their so they finished second in the district, second in the region, went to sub-state on the road and won their sub-state game and made the state tournament. And, and that's the thing about tournaments in basketball. That's, it is. It's one of those deals where it's maybe not like, baseball where anybody can win at any given time. There's still that talent deal there. There's still the way the teams play together and things. But you're right. I mean, and we've seen it out of this Buffalo's team that if they're playing well, they can play with anybody. And if you just hang around and hang around and hang around at the very end of the game, you got a chance to win. And you get that first win, and that locks you, I believe, that would lock you into advancing to the regional tournament.
Yeah, you win one game in tournament, you automatically go to region. Top 4 go to region.
So, you win that first game, you get into the 4 or the 5 spot. You win that first game, you get into the remaining tournament. And who knows? You make some noise. And I think that's what you're hoping to do. That's the goal here.
I mean, I don't know. That's what I just keep telling them. Like, we just gotta. I mean, I know it's not went the way we wanted it to this year, but at the end of the year, when it hits tournament time, everybody reckons 0-0 at that point.
It is.
So, I mean, put your boots on the same way everybody else does. Lace them up. Let's go.
So looking ahead, and I know that this is obviously ahead, but you have. I'm trying to think. How many seniors do you have on this team?
4.
So
Mason, Brock, Dawson, Baxley.
okay, so 2 of those play a considerable amount of time. The other 2 play some minutes.
Yep.
So you're maybe not as young as Coach Shaw, but you're still young.
Yeah, we're still. I mean,
As far as like you've got players that are going to be playing for at least another year.
yeah. I mean, even if you look at like, I said Brock, for instance, he didn't really get to play his freshman year, his sophomore year, junior year. He kind of transferred here towards the end of the year and didn't get to play much then. So like, this is really his first year of high school basketball. Like, he dealt with injuries his freshman, sophomore year, transferred here his junior year. So like, this is his first full season of basketball.
Yeah.
So I mean, I know he's a senior, but it's still. I mean, it's not experienced.
Right.
So, I mean, I feel like we're young all the way around, and I mean, we got some good young talent coming up too.
Yeah.
So
You do have that, but what I'm looking at, what I see as an outside observer is that, you've got a team that right now can play with anyone, but you've also got some young guys, some freshmen, sophomore, and even some juniors who next year are going to be able to take up that mantle and continue pushing. And how you finish this year is going to greatly increase the expectation for next year. And I think that's what building a program is about. It's not about being good in any specific season. It's about creating a environment of expectation for next year's team.
Yeah.
And I think you're in a good spot as far as that goes with having the rest of this season. You've got 4 conference games. You've got an opportunity to really make some noise, because I promise you, if you win all 4 of those conference games, sweeping Hampton, there's going to be a lot of noise about how West Greene's playing right now across the state.
Yeah.
Talking about sweeping the defending 1A state champions, and then 2 teams that, a lot of people think have the opportunity to go deep, and 1 team in South Greene that a lot of people, including myself, have the opportunity to do something extremely special. So you're going to make some noise if you win those 4 games and then get into the tournament. I don't care if you are the 4 and the 5 seed. There's going to be some noise there. So I think that looking at it and the players that you have and all of that stuff, it's kind of been, to this point, it's kind of been a season where fans and parents and everybody else can have an opinion about how things have gone, but everything gets forgotten about and absolved if this next 2 weeks, you continue to work that out. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Buffaloes respond. I know how Coach Tolley's going to respond. I know that, there's an expectation there. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Buffaloes respond. I think it's going to be busy. Cherokee,
for sure.
What, 2 days in a
4
row?
weeks.
4, yeah. So you said Cherokee tomorrow, Hampton Friday, Happy Valley Saturday. So the next 3 days you've got games. 2
Sunday.
conference.
Play Monday.
Yeah.
And then off 2 days, play Thursday.
So a busy time.
Let snow put us on.
It did. And maybe that's a good thing.
Yeah, maybe it's good. We're gonna give us some well-needed rest.
Gave you some rest, but it also gave you a time here at the end of the year where you're just going to be playing conference opponents and, you're just going to get in the stride. So, well, I don't know that I have anything else. And I will say that I am obviously not Tyler. He is he's special when it comes to that kind of stuff. And being able to just talk and converse. One thing about Tyler is he is an absolute encyclopedia of things. And on Saturday morning, this past Saturday morning, they were at the show, and he was like going through all these intricate scenarios about if this team wins and this team loses, or if this team loses and this team wins, and just weaving in and out. And I'm sitting there running production going, what are you talking about? Like,
Yeah, no.
we need a schematic of what you're actually saying to understand what is going on.
Yeah, he pulls some stuff out sometimes. I'm like, dude, you sleep at night?
Yeah.
Like, what do you do?
Well, and it's even worse when you get to talking to them about like baseball. And,
I don't go down that road.
well, yeah, because that's God's sport. It's baseball, but that's why
Well, okay, since you're on the show though,
I'm on the show.
I mean, you own the show. Okay.
No, Tyler owns the show. Tyler is this show.
Tyler, yeah, I'll agree. Tyler's show. Okay, March Madness. No, it's down the road
It's
a
not
little
in
bit.
February yet, but yeah.
Nope. Okay, but we always do it. We always talk about it. Okay, go ahead and give me 2 picks. I mean, right now it's still early, super early. 2 picks who you think will pull it out this year, and then we'll put yours up on the board. Mine and Tyler's.
2 teams.
2 teams. Yep. You can do like 2. Like everybody's like, oh yeah, I think you're for sure. Or you can pick a dark horse and
I think from the makeup of the team, I think Tennessee has to be one.
yes, Tennessee.
Now,
Even after last night.
Tennessee, I was about to say, Tennessee is one of them because they have all the key components. They have the defense, they have it don't connect, they have the score, they have the components. So I think they've got to be there. If we're just guessing, because obviously we don't know how these people play.
Right.
Here's the list.
Tyler put that.
Tennessee. The second one, I mean, it's hard to go against Zach Edey and Purdue just because of Zach Edey. But I will say, UConn probably would be my second.
UConn's your second?
Tennessee and UConn.
Tennessee, UConn. I just wait for UConn.
Yeah. But if I got to pick a third that would be a dark horse, like,
Yeah, go ahead and give us 3. Give us dark horse.
if I gave you 3 to be a dark horse, the dark horse would be Alabama. And the reason why Alabama is because of their offense.
Yeah, they get going.
Now, in March Madness, that matters.
Yeah.
Because it's really hard to play defense in a 64 team tournament. It's hard to play defense at a very, very high level that many days in a row. And so if your offense can score 70 points a game, you're probably going to win a lot more tournaments than the team that only scores.
Especially if you make it through those first 2 days.
Yes.
Yeah, good shot.
So I would say Alabama would be my dark.
There's Dalton's picks.
What are yours? I never got to hear it.
You'll have to come back.
Oh, you've not made yours yet?
No.
Maybe that's why I'm making mine in January.
No, we'll make it next show.
So do I get to come back if like people get hurt? And,
How about this? You just come back to the next show and we'll talk about it.
well, even next week, it's not going to be a.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
We're gonna have to. This needs to happen like February,
Okay.
like tournament time.
Regional tournament time.
Well, I'm talking about college tournament, SEC
I
tournament.
got you.
I think for you, is LSU there?
They don't even make the tournament.
You going like they don't make the SEC tournament probably.
I mean, they'll make the SEC tournament.
Is that a thing that happens anymore? Because I know used to like.
All 15 get in it.
So I think that used to like maybe the last 2 got out
Yeah.
or something.
No, I do think. I mean, UConn's obvious. I think North Carolina's got a good shot at it.
Even after last night.
Yeah, even after last night.
Yeah, that was bad.
That was
Probably wasn't as bad as Tennessee played. The offense for Tennessee last night was rough.
Don Connect had half of
Well,
over half, right?
Yeah.
What, 59? Yeah, 31.
did they have 59?
It's something like that.
Yeah, I stopped watching there. I mean, he started taking over at the end of the game, but when he missed those 2 free throws, that by the way, at one point after he had been went on that scoring spree, had he hit the 2 free throws before, they'd been tied with like a minute to go. But yeah, no, I think this year's kind of a toss up, and you've seen that a lot. I mean, you saw Kansas at the top for a while, and now they're down in 7-8. You've seen Purdue.
Arizona.
Purdue, to me, the only thing that makes them as highly rated and ranked as they are is Zach King.
Yeah, I would agree.
He's a game changer. I mean,
7'13".
yeah, he's huge and he's got a lot of finesse.
Yeah,
So
he's smooth with it.
he reminds me a lot of how I played basketball. Unfortunately, we're sitting in Coach Greenley's room and he cut me from the basketball teams. Have you ever heard that story?
He cut my brother too.
Well, he cut my brother too. I think he cut a lot of. That's why. That's it. That's the reason right there. He just cut us. I gave him a hard time every time, and he'll probably be upset with me for telling the story, but I don't care. I played my sophomore year. I didn't play my freshman year. Kevin Ridley, principal over at North Greene Middle, was my middle school baseball coach and math teacher. And he begged me not to try out for basketball when I got to high school because he told me, and this is an actual quote. He told me, he said, Dalton, son, and if you know Kevin Ridley, you might know a different Kevin Ridley than I know. This is long, long time ago because he's old. But he told me, he said, Dalton, son, I could turn the lights in the gym off, tie one arm behind my back and have wild animals chasing after me, and I could still beat you in basketball.
That's tough.
That's a real quote. And so he said, basically he was saying, without telling an 8th grader, you suck at basketball, he was telling me I sucked at basketball. So I didn't try out my freshman year. I was like, I'm gonna play football, I'm gonna play baseball. And then I met Mark Bowles and I was like, dang, I don't really want to play anything anymore because we never won a game in football. We were terrible in football. And then I meet Mark Bowles and he was just a jerk to me. And just, and again, after high school, we're best buds now. Like I love that guy to death. But in high school, he was rough. He was really rough if you had him in class. But I didn't try out for basketball. My sophomore year, I did. And I made the team. And that was the year that Jesse Bible and them were seniors. So I made the team that year. And it was a good year. But I played JV. And I might have got 4 minutes a game, and I had 5 technicals that year. And so the next year, I tried out. Well, I didn't try out. Sorry, back up. I didn't try out. It was coming up to basketball tryouts, and Coach Greenley at football practice one day told me, he said, hey, man, please don't try out for basketball. Because if you try out for basketball, I'm going to have to cut you. Like, please don't make me do that. Just go work out for baseball instead. And I was hurt. I was hurt real bad because I thought, I was like, man, I'm good. I'm Michael Jordan. But what I didn't realize is that I was a 230-pound, 6'1" kid who all I wanted to do was shoot 3-pointers. And there was no need for a 6-foot little Michelin man out there shooting 3-pointers on our basketball team. So I give him that. I always give him a hard time about that because he crushed my basketball dreams and brought me back down to reality. But he turns it back around and says, well, you had 2 good baseball years the rest of your time here. So fair point. So maybe, I don't know, maybe I was really upset and I was offended, but he was really looking out for my best interest.
Maybe so. That's what coaches do.
I know, that's what I was about to say. That's what you do, right? Sometimes you just got to hurt somebody's feelings just to help them out in the long run.
Right.
That's part of life.
It is. They learn it sooner or later.
And that ain't a joke.
It's better to learn it sooner than later, right?
That's right.
Well,
That's like that candy, now or later.
Yeah. I've never had one of those.
Well, don't.
Not
They
good.
literally stick in your teeth for later.
Later,
They're
okay.
awful. So, again, I appreciate you doing this with me. I appreciate you also not giving me a copyright strike like we get every single week with the North Greene Show, because for some reason they have to play the entrance music of a guy in wrestling who is just never there, but they play his entrance music every week.
Maybe they wouldn't go 1 week.
They want him to what?
Show up on the show. He's there.
Well, he might. He's never at the wrestling events. But they play that music, and I always get this email. I know when Tyler has uploaded those videos to social media and to YouTube, because I get an email that says, this video, and it tells me it's been flagged for copyright strikes and all that.
So if they started the show off and said, we are not on rights to this music,
Wouldn't matter. No. YouTube doesn't look at that. YouTube, nobody cares about that.
Show,
Yeah, you're still going to get arrested if you you're going to get fined and arrested if you type, people say, I don't own the rights to this music. Well, that's fine.
Yeah.
All you're doing is just admitting that
You stole it.
you know that you don't own the rights, but you're still using it. So
Okay.
it's, it makes the court case a little bit easier.
Yeah.
So just remember that, by the way.
Stay out of court. Yeah.
Stay out of the copyright cases. Anything else?
I'm done. Are you done?
I think I'm done.
All right. Thank you for watching this week's edition of the AMD Critters Corner Show. See you next week.